I'm David Craig. Welcome to this first video in the Pastfinder series, where I aim to give you the tools, the links and the resources to discover more about the past in your own area. Welcome to this session entitled Armchair Archaeology, a Lockdown Discovery Experience. My name is David Craig. I run HeritageNI, an aerial photography and mapping business. I'm also a member of the Ulster Archaeological Society survey team and lead the geophysics sub-team. Firstly, I will be outlining some online resources of aerial imagery, datasets and maps that I have used to identify new sites for the first time, along with how you can get these links and use these tools to explore and discover new sites for yourself. I have created a list on my website that will take you straight to these resources, as some of the links are a bit convoluted. Later on, I will be sharing the results of some geophysics carried out by the US survey group on two previously unknown enclosure sites in County Down that were discovered from such imagery. There are many satellite aerial maps available, taken over a period of 10 years. Each one was taken on a different year and a different season. Therefore, a feature might only show well in a few of these datasets, so it's worth checking them all out. So first, let's have a look at some of these online resources. On my website, which is HeritageNI.com, you'll find across the top of the page there will be a link that says Community. If you click on that, it will take you to a list of blue buttons that give you direct links to some of these resources. The Sites and Monuments Map Viewer for Northern Ireland, which gives if you give it a few seconds to load, it'll give you details about archaeological sites, wrecks, defence heritage sites and aerial imagery and the historic maps. Apple Maps is another source of aerial imagery. You don't have to have an Apple device to be able to see this. If you follow this link, it will take you to a search engine called DuckDuckGo. Yes, DuckDuckGo. And it uses Apple Maps. There's the Bing Microsoft Maps. There's Google Maps themselves, which a lot of people would be familiar with. It's got the aerial satellite view. You have the Public Records Office Map Viewer, which gives access to the old 6-inch maps, parishes and townland boundaries. And there's also the Republic of Ireland Historic Maps and Sites. The 6-inch maps, the first series 6-inch maps available on this site also cover Northern Ireland. There may be some maps that are missing from the Sites and Monuments Register viewer, and you might well find that the maps are covered here in the Republic of Ireland Historic Maps and Sites. Mapbox is an alternative satellite map viewer. So first of all, I'm going to take you through the process that I used to discover as much as I could about this site, just purely from sitting in front of a computer. This site is in County Down, in the locale area of County Down. It was brought to my attention by a good friend, John Convery, who's been studying the area for some time. There are also some metal detected finds from the fields which indicate that it is in fact a monastic site. So what we're going to do is first of all is have a look at the Sites and Monuments Register. So in order to easily get that, for those of you who have never done that before, if you go to my website, HeritageNI.com, and we go to the Community tab at the top of the page, and go to the Aerial and Satellite Map Viewers, and then on the list of resources, you'll see the very first one is the Sites and Monuments Register. So we'll click on that. I have to wait a second or two for it to load. Loads a map. Then it loads a licensing approval. You have to say just okay to that. And we can zoom back a little bit on the map. So we're going to zoom in on the locale area of County Down. This is this area here. And as I zoom in, you can see the various dots appear. The green ones are archaeological sites. The red areas are scheduled areas. The purple ones are listed building sites. And the yellow ones, like in the middle of the old RAF Bishop's Court here, is military sites. So the one we're looking for is this particular site here. As you can see, it's beside a river. The river's called Cargy. The site was originally located, in fact it's still marked as unlocated, The pin was away over here somewhere, so I've now managed to get it, the pin with the proper reference to it. So if we click on the actual dot, it'll tell us it is an ecclesiastical site, a medieval period, and it's in the townland of Killard Upper. We can check out a few other things while we're here. For example, these are modern field boundaries here. We want to check if there's older field boundaries that may show up and throw us off the track a wee bit, so we need to know about those. So go to the Layers tab at the top of the page here and scroll on down. I'm going to look at the third series, 6-inch maps here, and here I zoom in on the actual field itself. Oh, too much. This is the actual field here. You see there was, in the 1900s, there was other field boundaries across. So if we see crop marks in the field aligning with these, we know that that's what they are, and they're nothing to do with the actual site that's actually in here. So again, if we click on the little dot, and one of the links in here is linked to the Northern Ireland Sites and Monuments Register database entry. It's very easily missed. It's just a wee link there. If we click on that, it'll come up this, and it tells us a little bit the top corner here about what the site is about. It's been updated with information that I've been able to provide. This is only updated there across the summer, so HED do update these resources, so it's well worth having a look at. One of the other things you see here is under related documents, you've got the SM7 file, which is a PDF file that was originally created by the archaeologists who investigated the site in the first place, complete with post-it notes, complete with maps, different periods maps, and also some documentary evidence from Reeves, and further on down is from O'Laverty. They're sideways here, so it's pretty hard for us to read it. So if I have a look at it the proper way around, I'll zoom in on the bit here at the bottom. Well, look at this bottom part of the page here. You can see the site of the church is called Cargie. It's in a field. Upper Killard site, about a gunshot distance from the shore, 50 yards from the rivulet which bounds the townland. This is the second series 6-inch maps. You can see the field highlighted in yellow highlighter there. You can also see a laneway running from the sea right up to the field, runs right across the field and ends where the site of the church is. If we go back to our Sites and Monuments Register, we can see here's the river running through here, and it's in this field here. How we know it's in this field here, by the way, these double lines are just overlap lines between two of the boundary lines between the actual physical maps that just didn't quite line up when they scanned them, so it's not a lane going through here or anything. But we want to have a look at the aerial imagery over this field now. So over on the Layers tab here, we can go down and look at down here, OSNI, Ordnance Survey Northern Ireland, Orthophotography, current. If we click that on, it'll show us where it was 2019, I think this was done. There was a crop in the field. I'm not sure what time of the year it was. Early on, I would think, going by a look at the other fields. Crop is only starting to grow here a bit. Not a lot of information really. You can see tractor marks and a few dry spots where it's not growing so well. Here's the river running through here. The site actually is in here. If we zoom back a little bit, sort of maybe see something here. But there are other resources that we want to look at and to try and find out more about this particular site. So we're going to use Google Earth. Google Earth again can be got from my web page here. If you go down, scroll on down to the bottom, you'll see there's a link there to Google Earth Pro. You have to install Google Earth Pro. It's not an online service. It's you have to install the program on your computer. When you do that, it comes up with this. This is Google Earth Pro. It's a main aerial imagery in the middle. The left-hand side over here contains information about the various places that I have saved for future reference, just so I can recall them easily. But the area we want to have a look at is in the locale area down here. So we're going to move it to there, going to zoom in on it, using my mouse wheel to zoom in. This is the locale area here. We're going to scroll right in. Easy landmark to see here is RAF Bishop's Court. Get it in the middle, we can zoom it in here. Our field is just to the right of that. And there's our familiar shaped field, looking slightly different in this particular image because it was taken at a different time of the year. We can see a trail running through the middle of it there. Somebody's been taking a shortcut through the field. Here's the river running through here. Again, we can't really see too much detail here, but one of the things we can do is look back over a period of years to previous flowing flights over this area. To do that, you go to the top of the page here where the green arrow, the anti-clockwise green arrow is. Click that and the map will change to the most recent one. There's this floating toolbar here. It's only visible when you hover over it. This is in October 2020, so it's pretty recent. So again, we can't really see too much in here, but one of the options, if we go back up to this, is there's the little arrows the left and at the right. We can travel back in time, as it says here, so we can look at the previous one, which was in March this year. Not much different. Look at August 2019. Again, we're not seeing very much in the field here. If you study it carefully, you might be able to see a few features. Nothing really clear. Keep going back. This is August 2019. Still nothing really there. Go back again to 2018. It's July 2018. Now we can start to see something. This was the dry summer, if you remember, when I flew Ballinahattie with Barry Hartwell. We got all the nice features showing up there. But here we can actually see some very, very clear features. You can see the circular features of the enclosure. There are multiple enclosures here, maybe corresponding to different occupation periods. There's annex enclosures here. You can see the darker ditch lines showing up in the crop mark here. You can also see some of the old field boundaries running through here as well, which we saw from the 1900 6-inch maps. There's another field boundary running through here. This is actually a path. It's actually a very old style in the wall here. This may be related to that, but there are several other areas here that are worthy of investigation. So on the basis of that, and on the basis of the finds that were turning up from metal detecting in this field, we have been able to confirm that this is in fact the Renlis Monastery site. I had a few other pieces of imagery now taken from the drone, which will show us a little bit more. So the best imagery from the Google Earth Pro series was from 2018. So that color image I took into a piece of software called Decorrelation Stretch, which does all sorts of magic on the data to produce a range of tones, and this happens to be one of them. So you can see it shows up an awful lot more. We've got a central spot here around the edge, but there definitely seems to be like a circular edge to it. We can see very clearly the actual church enclosures here, with other enclosures again with the blodge in the middle. Another one here. Some of these ones here, this one here, this long line going up through is one of the old field boundaries that we saw on the earlier maps. So we can apply this process to all sorts of imagery. The next best imagery was the Bing maps, which was this one. And again, you can still see slightly different emphasis this time and different field boundaries. You can see this one going across here, curving round towards the modern gate. The internal enclosures are still visible there. If we click on to the next one, this one is an aerial created from the drone. About 300 odd photographs were stitched together and created this orthomosaic image. Gives us the basis of which we can go forward and do all sorts of analysis using both Photoshop and decorrelation stretch. So you can still see a lot of the features there. So from this one image we could process other ones. This is processed in black and white through decorrelation stretch. Another one, again, it's showing different features up. We've got another sort of a closure of a thing here with an outer one possibly. There's other features, this oval shaped one over here. There's something going on in here as well. Plus there's others in other parts of the image as well. So the more we look at these, we can see different, as it's processed differently, that enclosure seems to have disappeared. That was what we call the ear shaped one, but there's other features showing up. Again, more hints of things showing up in the field here, all building data. There's some circular features here, concentric circular features. And here's that ear one again showing up. And again, our circular enclosures here. So there's quite a few different ones. It's back to our original one again, taken from Google Earth. So already throughout a series of Google Earth images and the drone imagery, we can analyze the data and start to plot these into GIS, that is Graphical Information System software, where we can layer drawings over top of these to highlight which field boundaries, which are possible ditches, which are possible walls, and giving us working towards targets that we can do further research on, including geophysics. Next, we have a few of the 30-odd photographs that I've managed to acquire of finds that were collected from this field. This one, lovely pendant, estimated by Cormac Burke. Many thanks to Cormac for all his work and helping me in this. He estimates this to be early 7th century, along with this pin, which is also of the same period. And this is the end of the pin. This is a lead seal, which is doubled over. This is a cross, a pendant cross, pretty poor photograph, I'm afraid. And likewise, these metal plates with the rings in the corners. Although this is a desktop exercise, I just want to thank John Convery for bringing this to my attention in the first place. I'd like to thank Cormac Burke for his input in terms of the finds, and also Liam McQuillan, who's taken a great interest in the site from HED. So to finish with, I'm going to fly through some other sites that I've discovered recently by using the methods that I've just outlined. I'm going to start off with the historic environment map viewer. This is the area of the Giant's Ring, as you can see here. So the whole area has been scheduled now as a result of what Barry Hartwell myself did it in 2018. It's only partially showing some imagery here because the flights aren't there, but going down just to the edge here, this field here, if I zoom in on this field, you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's enclosures, what looks like barrows, quite a few of them. These parallel lines. Parallel lines are probably entrance way leading up to this site here. So let's now just have a quick look at other sites that I've discovered that are not on the Sites and Monuments Register. We'll first of all have a look at one near Newtownards. Just outside Newtownards, it's just off the dual carriageway. We've got a plectrum shaped enclosure with something in the middle, possibly some other features round about. If we zoom back a little bit from that, this field over here, just to the left of it, you see there's another circular feature in the middle of the field here with an entranceway, probably an old field boundary or maybe an old paleo channel running through here. And then further down at the bottom here, you can see a small enclosure. It could be a barrow. Next one I want to have a look at is further down the dual carriageway towards Dundonald, just off to the left, showing a good crop mark in the field here. Very clearly defined circular enclosure. Not much sign of an entranceway here, so it looks a little bit different to me. Could be an enclosure like a rath or something, but it also could be more of a ritual nature. There's also another enclosure just outside of that. There's some field boundaries round about. Next one is down near the Abbacy, down the Ards Peninsula. Again, showing up a crop mark in the field. Again, not on the Sites and Monuments Register, this time showing an entrance and a curved in corners to it, and possibly some field boundaries around it. Next one is at Carry Ray, which is near Donaghadee, just outside Donaghadee. Very interesting field, this one. Only in this one year, in 2017, does it show a circular enclosure with another one outside of that with an annex to it. If you look very carefully, you can see there looks to be a central enclosure with radiating walls or ditches radiating out from that. We actually have permission from the farmer to do geophysics on this field, which we will be doing whenever things allow. The last one I want to show you is Rincreevy, which is near Cumber. In fact, it's near Island Hill, and it's a plectrum shaped enclosure, very much like a very sharply defined plectrum shaped enclosure, with a feature in the middle and possibly something at the southern end of it. Outside of the field, there's again what looks like a couple of barrows, small circular enclosures with central feature. So we have actually done geophysics over this, so let's have a look at that now. This is the results of the earth resistance survey that the US survey team did. You can quite clearly see the ditch surrounding the enclosure here. There's a square, rectangular-ish shaped structure in the middle with a dark diagonal cross line going through the middle of it. There's also a bit of this could be a wall annexing off the bottom part of the enclosure. There's no sign of the barrows which are in here. And further to this, you can see the entranceway here. This is a relief version of the same data. Again, you can see the enclosure quite clearly. What we think is a wall maybe going across the bottom here. Here's the structure in the middle. Again, a bit more defined. Possibly it could be a collapsed souterrain. The entrance is quite clearly seen. The rampart across the ditch here is quite easily seen, and it disappearing off, curling down towards a very wet spot, which is probably the well, and it's heading down towards the shore. This whole area was about 10,000 square meters, the biggest one that we've ever done. Here you can see little horizontal ticks going aligned east-west. If this is an early ecclesiastical site, which is a possibility, these could be graves. To finish off with, I'm going to show you two 3D models that were created from objects that were found in the locale area. One was found on the beach at Torella, and the other about 5.5 miles away. This was the first object. It was found by my good friend John Convery on the beach at Torella. It's a Benin bronze. Benin bronzes were originally from an area which is now Nigeria. It was in about the 13th century where they originated. And there were various copies made over the years. This particular one has been assessed by the British Museum, and they are not so sure it's original. However, because it was found on the beach at Torella, Rory McNeary has very kindly produced some information for me on a slave trader wreck that was wrecked off the shore at Torella in the 18th century. And there are actually records of various finds, including elephant tusks and various other things found at the time. So this is most likely definitely came from Africa, and almost certainly it came from this ship. This is a 3D model, so we can spin around it, look at it from any angle. We can zoom in and see detail. The second 3D model is of a brooch that was found again in the locale area. The pin is broken off, as you can see here. If you look at it from underneath, you can see it's broken off here. But it's quite delicate. The central square piece here has fallen out of the side. It is in the bag. We actually do have it. The off-white surround used to be red, like a ruby color. Many thanks to Cormac Burke for giving me all this information. Cormac had a good look at it and dated it to be 6th to 7th century. It's badly worn around the edge here as well, but there's some nice concentric rings around it at various places. And at least the object can be viewed by anybody who wants to have a look at it. It's on a link from my website on a Sketchfab link at the bottom of every page. You can click on the Sketchfab link there and you can get to the page where this item can be viewed. I hope you enjoyed this excursion into armchair archaeology, and I hope it inspires you to get hunting in the online maps. Keep an eye on the community menu on HeritageNI.com, as I will be posting more resource links and YouTube tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.